he's serenading his prize cat Mingo. He was the grand champion of the Elkhart County Fair in 2012.
Where's Mingo?
Math man can't be with his students, then he won't be with his prize cat either. Us cat people must stick together. Ha ha ha!
Hey everyone, and as you can see, I got Mingo back before Catwoman turned him into a furball. And so Mingo says hello. He says everybody should stay positive as we do this e-learning, and I don't know, I think he wants to get down. He must be in a bad mood. And so welcome back. It's Friday, and so Mingo's running off. He might want to go drive his Ferrari, or maybe he's going to go read the newspaper. So, but whatever he's doing, he's feline good, and so hopefully you're feline good today too. So get your notes, get a pencil, and get ready for another day of e-learning. And so looking forward to it. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Man, I can't believe outside the weather changes faster than anything, but in here it seems like every day is the same. But it is Friday, and so sometimes we have to remind ourselves of that. And I have no idea why when it's Monday it seems like Friday is a long ways away, but when it's Friday, why does Monday come so fast? I can't figure it out. And so, but happy Friday everybody. And so make sure you get to you're on the e-learning page and fill in that attendance form and click Friday, April 17th, because it's hard to know what day it is when every day seems the same. So, but today is Friday. And so as we go down, remember for algebra, we have the warm-ups that are due. You have to get all 6 done. Normally you're only going to get 3. So get all 6 done. There's 4 questions for each one, and just like in class, we let you fix your homework. Well, here you fix it by redoing it, and each question's worth a point. And so each warm-up is going to be 12 points this week, 12 points the other. So if you say, I'm only going to get 1 out of 4 right, well, you're only getting 1 out of 4 points because you can have the opportunity to redo that. So make sure you do. And your logic problems are due, so send those this way. And some guy's really dedicated to his running. He's just running down the road in a snowstorm. So that's dedication right there. And so, but we're going to print off the notes, so make sure you have those. And then when we're done here, we're going to put the videos for the notes, and so you can watch them. And you guys always do a great job. Algebra always has more likes on the YouTube videos by a couple than the other classes. So make sure we always have more than they do. And so make sure you like the videos, and we'll be ready to go. So do you have the notes out? Here we are. This is a hard thing to teach when we are all together. This, most people wouldn't even begin to teach when we're not together. But guess what? We're not like most people. So we're going to teach it. And we're going to teach the topic of complex fractions. And so this is notes 114. And we're going to give you 2 ways of doing it. And I'm going to give you lots of hints on the homework. And so when some of you send your homework, and I can tell you haven't watched the video to the end because you miss all the hints, and you need to write these things down. And hopefully I don't make mistakes, but you know, I make them. A person who makes a mistake doesn't intentionally make it. So when they make it, they don't know they're making it unless someone points it out. And so since I'm by myself, I got no one to, Mr. Nyson, that was a 6. You wrote a 5. And it's like, oh no. And so we will try not to make mistakes, and I'll try to pay attention. So the first question is, a complex fraction is a fraction within a fraction. And so we want to ask ourselves, is A over B over C the same thing as A over B over C? Now what I circled, these look like division signs. Ooh, because fraction is division. And so the question is A over B? See, we could write a complex fraction as a division problem. A over B divided by C. Is that the same thing as A divided by B over C? How many of you think the answer is yes? How many of you think the answer is no? Well, the answer is no. We don't take votes on truth. Truth is truth no matter how many people vote for it. And so you need to stick with what you know. And A over B divided by C and A divided by B over C, these are not equal. Because to divide is to multiply by the reciprocal. And so we're going to flip the second one because that's what we're dividing by. And when you flip these, let's see if these give you the same thing. And so over here, we have A over B times 1 over C. And can you see that nothing's going to cancel? And you get A over BC. And here, we get A over 1. And we flip the C over B. And we get AC. Cam? AC Green? What's he famous for? Oh, great job, Cam. Most consecutive games in NBA. Yes, he showed up every day and worked hard. So, great job. I think he played for the Lakers, right? Yep, good job. That's a terrible AC, though, but I got excited. So that's AC over B. And the other one was A over BC. So those are not equal. So it is important how we do these problems. And fractions within fractions don't show up very often, but when they do, they're complex. Or as Mingo would say, they're perplexing. Meow. And so don't get perplexed. So we're going to show you 2 ways to do these problems. One way is the way you would do them. I'm just going to simplify them. I don't need Mr. Nyson. I can do this on my own. I know how to do fractions. They don't frustrate me. So you just simplify top and bottom. That's just simply top and bottom. I really need to change. Back it up. Simplify. Semper Fi. Simplify. Top and bottom. You just do them separately. And so that's what many of us will do. And so let's take a look at the first one. And then after you simplify top and bottom, then you're going to divide just by flipping the bottom. So we'll do what many of you would do. So you take this top part and you say, what's 7/12 minus 1/6? Well, you need a common denominator. You don't say it's 6 over 6. You change this to 2/12, and 7/12 minus 2/12 will give you 5/12. Then on the bottom, 2 plus 4/9 is 2 4/9. Well, if you take 9 times 2, I mean, that would just be simply a mixed number, 2 4/9. But then you want to change that mixed number to improper. We don't like mixed numbers. 2 times 9 is 18. 18 plus 4 is 22. And this would be 22 over 9. Well, this is still a complex fraction. But you simplified the top. Okay, where's my highlighter? And we really have 5/12 divided by 22/9. Well, if it's 5/12 divided by 22/9, it's 5/12, and then you flip. To divide is to multiply by the reciprocal. To divide is to multiply by the multiplicative inverse. To divide is to multiply by the reciprocal. And so we're going to flip over the 22/9 to make 9 over 22. And you could write 45 over whatever 12 times 22 is, but we love to multiply fractions because the glasses go and pop into 2. But hi-ya! We like to karate chop and reduce. So 9 over 12, divide by 3, and you get 3 over 4. Will anything else cancel? I hope I don't make mistakes. And you get 15 over 88. So that's one way. You just simplify the top and the bottom. And that method will always work. Always, 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 always. Like shoveling your driveway. It always works to get the snow off. But today, if you just wait, the snow's all going to melt. So you might not have to shovel, unless mom and dad say you should shovel. Then, of course, you should shovel. But otherwise, wait 5 minutes. It'll melt. So we look at example 2. And we could simplify the top, which I'm not going to do. Well, I guess I will do. Multiply this one top and bottom by y, multiply this one top and bottom by x, and you get y minus x over xy. And then you would find a common denominator of the bottom one, which is xy, and you multiply this one top and bottom by y, and you get y squared. You multiply this one top and bottom by x, you get x squared. And then I put it over xy. And then you would take the top and divide it by the bottom, which would then mean you're going to flip the bottom. And then you're going to factor this. And then the y minus x's are going to cancel and the xy's are going to cancel, and then you're going to get some. And all that will work, but guess what? I'm not doing it that way. I just wrote it down. Yeah, we've heard that one before. What we're going to do is try method 2, because it's April and the snow melts and it's a lot easier to do less work. And so in method 2, we're going to multiply, instead of simplify the top and the bottom, the numerator and the denominator, we're going to multiply the numerator, the n, and the d, both by the least common denominator of the numerator and the denominator. What? I'm confused. I'm going back to my normal ways. I'm going to start shoveling. Just listen and hear me out. You might like it. Mikey likes it. Whoa, and then Life Cereal becomes a great hit. And so, just listen. What is the common denominator in example 2 of x and y? And x and y. Well, the common denominator is xy. So I have this big old fraction right here. But see, it has a top and it has a bottom. A numerator and a denominator. And so if I multiply top and bottom by the common denominator, all I have to do is distribute, and I won't have any more fractions. Watch this. Distribute the xy to this. Well, what happens? The x's cancel, and I'm left with a y. Here, distribute the xy to this. The y's cancel. I'm left with an x. My numerator just becomes that. Whoa! That was pretty smooth. Here on the bottom, I distribute this. Now this is over 1, and this was over 1. That's why the x is canceled and the y is canceled. Here the x's cancel, and y times y is y squared. Here the y's cancel, and I get x squared, and I'm done. Well, I'm just going to cancel the y's and be left with a square. No, no, no. See, I'm looking at your homework, and I want to see that you factor this guy. This is what I'm looking for. I want to see, does my student know if it factors? Does Bree know that it factors? Does Asa know that it factors? Does Preston know that it factors? Does Colin show me that it factors? And so we want to see it. And so the bottom does factor. And see, we like to see the step. And the bottom factors into y minus x times y plus x. And the y minus x's cancel. And where is this y plus x? Abby, is it in the top or the bottom? It's in the bottom. It's in the denominator. And so the only thing left on top is a 1. So we have that. And we have beautiful work. Do you know we could do that to the top problem here? What is the common denominator of 12, 6, and 9? The common denominator of 12, 6, and 9 is, Ryan? 36. Good job. Watch this. If you would multiply top and bottom by 36, you don't have to write this down. You can just watch. And you can rewatch. But like the video. It gives Mr. Nyson, reinforcement. Positive reinforcement. And so 36 divided by 12 is 3. 3 times 7 is 21. Minus 36 times the 6 is just 6. And then on the bottom, 36 times 2 is 72. And then 36, 4/9 of 36 is just 16. Look at that. Without all that work, 21 minus 6 is 15. And 72 plus 16 is 88. 15 over 88. And so, there we go. Concord had a really good basketball team back in 1988. You know, Sean Kemp. My older brother graduated in 87. But they're still really good in 88. Maybe even better. So, then we go to example 3. Example 3. This is like the hardest ones we could give you. I remember when I first graduated, well, before I graduated, I was student teaching. And the teacher, we were in algebra, and we were teaching complex fractions. And I put a problem like this up on the board. Back in the old days, we had chalkboards. And I started, and the students were writing it all down. And my teacher that was observing me noticed that I got the wrong answer. But he didn't want to tell the whole class I got it wrong, because then students wouldn't think I know anything. And so then he went up to the board, and he did this exact same problem, did the whole thing, and he got a different answer, and his was still wrong. Then why, Mr. Nyson, are we doing these problems if people can't get them? Because we're smarter now, and I promise I'll get it right. And so, but just to show you that these problems, there's a lot to keep track of. Using the shortcut on this one probably isn't going to work. And so we're going to do one of these, and to do this over e-learning is quite the thing. But no fear here, and we're going to do this. And so I'm just going to go sit up in this corner, and we're going to do this problem. This one, many times you just have to simplify the top and the bottom. So if I simplify the bottom, I multiply 1 is x over x. And so this becomes x minus 1 all over x. The top, yes, you want to simplify the top, but you go to the innermost part and you just simplify that. So you still got your 1, you got your minus, and you have your x. But then we're just going to simplify this right here by putting it over 1 and multiplying top and bottom by x. And so then this becomes 2x minus 1 over x. Now the next part, you just work your way out. The next part we're going to simplify is this. And that becomes 2x minus 1 over x over x. Well, if you're dividing by x and you're dividing by x again, you're really just dividing by x squared. So this becomes this. And then this is this. X minus 1 over x. Then we're going to simplify the top. Well, if we look at the top, we could do this. Or we could change methods. Maybe we'll change methods now. Because the top and the bottom will have the exact same denominator, an x. So I'm actually just going to switch it up now. And we're going to multiply top and bottom by x. So we're going to put parentheses around the entire top. And we're going to multiply it by x. And then we're going to multiply the bottom by x. Now here is where I made my mistake back in 1995. That was a long time ago. And I'll show you my mistake. You cross off the x's here, and you get x minus 1. That was not my mistake. You distribute the x to each part. We distribute it to the 1, we get an x. We distribute it to here, and your x's cancel. Well, you're left with 2x minus 1. Do you see my mistake? Do you see it? Do you see it? The mistake is, what is it? I got to get the highlighter. Here's the highlighter. The mistake is right here. What didn't I do with this? I didn't. Who should we call on? Who should we call on? Hannah! Yes! We forgot to distribute the negative. Of course, Hannah would never forget to distribute the negative, but us mere humans do forget to distribute the negative. And so this minus, even though the x's cancel, has to go to both of those. And so then this really becomes a plus right there. And so you get x minus 2x plus 1. Well, does anything combine on the top? Yes, the top becomes negative 1x plus 1 over x minus 1. And should I leave that? Preston, should I leave it? No, because Mr. Nyson, you got to factor the top. Remember, you forgot to do that the other day. You never factored the top, but nothing canceled anyways. But today, you better pull a negative out of the top, and you get x minus 1. You pull a negative out of this becomes x, the plus becomes a minus, and it's over x minus 1. And then the x minus 1's cancel, and you get negative 1. Whoa. That means if you took this problem and you plugged in 5, let's race. What's the answer? Boom! Negative 1. Hey, let's take this problem. Let's plug in negative 3 everywhere. What do we get? Negative 1. Let's plug in 17 million. What do we get? Negative 1. Let's plug in 0. What do we get? Undefined. Because the denominator cannot equal 0. Whoa, we tricked you. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. I forgot the silly rabbit part before. But we got it. Now, so that equals negative 1. So on your homework, you start the first one. I'm going to do the first one for you. And then I'm going to give you hints on all the last ones. So problem number 1 is m over 8 over 5m over 8. Now you could flip this one if you want and write m over 8 times 8 over 5m. And then just start and cancel everything. And you'll get your answer. And the 5 is in the denominator. Or you could forget all that and just multiply top and bottom of this fraction by 8. And the 8's cancel. And you get m over 5m. And then the m's cancel. And you don't get a 5. You get a 1/5. And so you have that. Okay? So you got to do all of 1 to 12. The homework is page 278. 1 to 12, see right here. See the homework? 1 to 12, 14 to 20 even. It's on the page. And so if we go to the homework help, I have some of these written down for you. These are terrible. It's like, why do you assign the hard ones when you're not with us? Because we are with you in spirit. And so we're going to set these up. This problem right here, I would multiply by the common denominator. To do anything else is a mess. You could simplify the top and the bottom. But the thing is, if you just multiply top and bottom by this, it works out really cool. And that's what you're putting here. You're going to multiply top by s squared plus 2, and you're going to multiply the bottom by s squared plus 2. And I'm not going to rewrite it. You're just going to look. So s squared plus 2 times 1 becomes s squared plus 2. Then, when we take the s squared plus 2 times the 6, the s squared plus 2's cancel, and you just get minus 6. Here, you take the x squared plus 2 times this, and they cancel. And you're just left with 4s. It's not a 5. It's an s. Make sure you got your volume up. 4s plus 2, and then take the s squared plus 2 times this, and you get s squared plus 2. Then combine the top, combine the bottom, and see if anything will factor. And write your s squared term first, write your 4s second, and write your 4 last. And this is s squared minus 4. And the top's going to factor into the difference of squares. And the bottom's going to factor into a perfect square trinomial. And one of these guys, matters where you write them, are going to cancel. And you're going to have the answer. So you do that. Then we're going to do problem 16. Look, I already have this ready to go. Are you impressed? Now this one is harder. We pull a 3. We could do the shortcut on this too. If you pull a 3 out of this, this becomes 3 times 1 minus c. It's a c, not a g. It's a c. And so our common denominator for the top and the bottom is actually going to be a c, a 3, and a 1 minus c. A c, a 1 minus c, and I need a 3. Okay? So instead of rewriting them like we normally do, we're just going to multiply top and bottom by the common denominator. And so what we're going to multiply top and bottom by is all 3 of these things. A 3, a c, and a 1 minus c. And we're going to multiply the bottom, a 3, a c, OIC, and 1 minus c. And so we're going to distribute here, and the only thing that's going to cancel is the c. So we're going to get 3 times 1 minus c. And then here, a lot of stuff's going to cancel. The 3 and the 1 minus c, so the only thing that's left is the c times 1, which gives you that. Then on the bottom, here the 1 minus c's cancel, because 1, put this over 1. That's upstairs, that's downstairs, so we're just left with the 3c. And here we have only the c's canceling. And then we have 3 times 3, which is 9, times 1 minus c. Now the chance of me not making a mistake on this is not very likely because there's a lot of things going on. The c's cancel, 3 times 3 is that, and you have that. Now what is the common mistake that people are going to make? They're not going to distribute a negative 9 to the bottom. Distribute the negative 9 to both of these. So clean up the top, clean up the bottom. If you can factor anything, factor it and then cancel it. And that's what you're going to do. And then for the very last problem on a Friday, problem 18, get rid of all that stuff. This one wasn't written as a complex fraction. This one was written as just take this fraction, divide it by this one. So if you want to, we can rewrite this. And so we have 1 minus 2u. In the bottom of that, multiply top and bottom by 2u. And we get 2u plus 1 all over 2u. Divided by 1 plus 2u. And then here, write 2u over 2u. So this becomes 2u minus 1 over 2u. Judith, you paying attention? Oh, good, good. Good job, good job. Did you shoot baskets today? Or is it snowing too much? And so we have this, and this is the fraction we're going to flip over. And so how would we do that? That could be quite messy. And so we have 1 minus 2u over 2u plus 1 over 2u. And then this becomes 2u minus 1 over 2u over 1 plus 2u. It's like, I'm so lost. I don't know what to do. And then this fraction bar is longer. So that one, it's like, this is way too hard. Why are we trying to do this on e-learning? Because if we were in class, we'd be doing it, and then you'd be just as smart. So we're going to try. But I got a better idea. Instead of writing that, if we have this divided by this, just flip this one within this fraction. So then this will be easier. This becomes 1 minus 2u times 2u. What's a 2u? Over 2u plus 1. Then, this one we're going to flip. I'm going to flip this one just over here. And it becomes 2u minus 1. You already wrote this. Over 2u over 1 plus 2u. And if we put the 1 plus 2u on the bottom, we have the 2u minus 1 on top. And then on the bottom, we actually have this and this. And so it becomes 2u times 1 plus 2u. And the thing is, you'd think a bunch of stuff will cancel, but the only thing that's going to cancel are these 2u's. And on the bottom, you actually have 2u plus 1 quantity squared. And on the top, you don't have this squared unless you put a negative. And you have negative 1 times 2u minus 1 quantity squared. And that thing was a mess. And so that's problem 18. And I did do it right because I just checked it in the back of the book. See, right here, answers. And so finish those. And this shows me if you're watching the video to the end. So write that down. And it's free gifts. It's Christmas all year round in here. And it's snowing. So it does get hot wearing this red suit every day. But hey, we do it for you. And so enjoy the rest of your day. Get the homework turned in. Send me your logic problems. Send me your warm-ups. Well, warm-ups I'll tell online. And we look forward to seeing you on Monday. And let me know if you need paper copies or send it. I'm getting all those around. I'm only allowed to go to school on Monday morning, but there's too many to email. And so I'm going to send them the pack. And so you need to let me know or let the school know so we get those. Okay? So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you later.